Okay. Hello, everybody. Never Lost with another podcast episode. Jack Saturday and James Plath. Woohoo. Okay. So nice to see you guys. And I thought today I would start with a little poem to get us into it. You ready? Here we go. All right. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow, you are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, it therefore the less gone. All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar of a surf tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep, while I weep, oh God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? Oh God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? Do you know who wrote that, James?
Edgar Allan Poe.
Woohoo!
I'd like
Yeah.
to donate all my winnings to Jack Saturday's cause, whatever cause he wants to. That's
Uh, maybe,
maybe,
maybe.
maybe.
You had to throw a maybe in there. Okay, that's better. I like that.
What?
He's
That's
throwing
the
us for a loop
skeptical.
already.
Yeah. What? Spin it, spin it. That does that turn? Don't know. Yes.
Yes, and
Yes.
oh. Yeah. Okay.
He's full of tricks,
So
this guy.
he's a trickster and you're a magician. I'm in good company.
Yes. I think
Yeah.
he's the magician.
So I wanted to start because this poem is a dream within a dream. And I wanted to talk a little bit about whether for each of you this feels dreamlike or more material. So whoever wants to take it away.
After you. No, after you. No.
I think it feels like foam.
Like foam.
Yeah, like the whole thing feels like foam. Because where is it going and where is it coming from? It's appearing and disappearing instantaneously.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
It just feels like foam.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I describe it as a blob. Sometimes I'm like, it's just one gelatinous kind of blobby thing appearing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like
interesting you say that.
electrical foam.
Ah, electrical.
Well, yeah, you're probably a talking lightning bolt.
More than likely.
I like Cornel West, who I think is still running for president in the US. I
Hmm.
don't know. But he was always an inspiration of mine. And he says college or real education should make you feel like you're standing on jello.
Hmm.
Like what you're both saying, like a jello kind of foamy. All of a sudden everything should just fall away and you're just sinking and up and you don't know what you're standing on. I like that.
Yeah. Huh. It's interesting.
He's running
Yeah.
for president.
So like this, if I was to think back in memory, this whole experience, non-experience, some seemed very material for a long period of life.
Yes.
And yeah, and then there seemed to be a progression into unknowing and now it's like an appearance of a progression through memory and imagination. And yeah. So, I mean, James, I know your story and you kind of like went through the whole magician aspect of being completely material to
100%.
astonishment.
100%.
And Jack, I briefly heard your story, but maybe you don't want to get into stories. Maybe you just want to talk about what's happening over there now.
So if it's odd, I'll tell a story, and if it's even, then I won't.
Love that.
It's even. I'm not going to tell a story. What's happening right now is this.
Don't know.
Is there
Beautiful.
anything on the back of that one? Nothing behind that one?
I love that we can, I feel like we're all arcade games because we
Yeah.
don't have to talk, like talking is optional. So we open up our hole and the face, and out comes all whatever we can play. So I love that. I mean, we're just sitting here in this, like, who knows what's going to happen, but we're doing it. So I don't know. I don't know where we have to go. I don't think we have to say anything in particular. It feels pretty beautiful in that way.
Yeah.
Where are all the words that we don't use right now? Are they stored somewhere, or they're just
Right. Yeah. I mean, everything's kind of booming and arising just as this. So there's no predictability.
right?
Yeah.
I can say
Okay.
that as a seeker, my whole life, everything was very solid, but I would read quantum mechanics books. I couldn't understand the math, but I could understand that atoms were mainly empty. And if you had, I understood the idea of like a speck of dust at the bottom of a 50-foot building, and a BB at the top would be the distance between a 50-story building would be the distance between the electron and the nucleus of the atom. And I knew what scientists were saying, that it was mainly empty, but I didn't feel that emptiness. And I always felt like if there was a God, it was so far in the void, and I was scared of the void and dying. And
Yeah.
then when the experience happened, it it it, it was not solid. It was ephemeral, or you could see through the veil. Everything became spacious and empty. And then the next day, solid again. And then
Yeah.
it's kind of trying to keep poking holes in the veil to get it, to get that porous feeling of the jello, that the foam that you guys are talking about. Took a while.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems to be growth and change. And the one constant is change, and yet nothing ever
Yes.
changes, you know? How do you feel, Jack Saturday, about growth and change within this?
Um, it's apparent because
Yeah.
when do we take the sample? So when is the sample? When is the sample of the colors anything other than what it appears to be? Like, is there a blur? There's not a blur. We know there's not a blur. So the eyes, in my experience, I think we have to remove the eyes. If we want to understand anything, we have to close our eyes and just sit in that beautiful, spacious darkness. Because the eyes are all reflecting the light surface retina relationship, which is an illusion.
And what do you feel in that spacious darkness?
Well, I can't put that into words.
Mm.
Can you dance it for us?
Don't you feel like you're like a snake that's got a monkey wrapped around it? Like
Well,
the spine originally, right? It was a snake originally. And then it
Yeah,
grew these things, and then just all feels like it's snake monkey wind.
I
mm,
like those. I agree.
you agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
snake and
that
monkey work for me.
yeah, that reminds me of Kundalini energy. And I know I'm putting a provocative word there. but it's almost like a force energy arising.
Yes.
I don't know, James, did you have experience with that energy? Did you have a blast off there? I don't know. I don't remember if we talked about it.
First blast off was 2009 when someone that I looked up to very much said that everything that I say, and my teacher, who was the amazing Randy, who was the greatest skeptic to me besides Voltaire ever. And he was very much alive, Randy, and we were with Dawkins and all the materialists, and I was so locked into that paradigm. And this one man said, everything you think is wrong, and he said, just go within and be quiet, like what Jack was saying. And one night,
Yeah.
my girlfriend went out to the movies with her friend, and I put the beagle to bed, my little beagle Eugene, and shut the lights, like Ben was saying, no eyes, no, and I knew Nettie Nettie, not this, the old Hindu I knew whatever came in, just let it go. Don't cling to it, don't identify. And and I actually told my teacher, this man, I said, what if I netty out the experience though? And he laughed, and the laughter was so boyish, it's so like what Ben's doing, so light that I knew he was right. And I said, okay, I can't netty out the experience. And I just kept letting go. And then I was so attached to the brain. I wore a neuron around my neck, and I saw a brain image with a little tiny plug, smaller than the plugs we get with our phones, like, when they give you that little plug, so
Hmm.
small. But it was plugged into nothing, but it was plugged in. I could tell it was the brain. And I just was so silent that the plug pulled. And when the plug pulled, the brain went away. And then this guy, my teacher, came in wearing a netty baseball hat, and he had a giant broom, a maintenance broom, and he swept up anything that was there, like concepts. And then the broom swept him up. It swirled and swept up the sweeper. And when that went, I broke through into this empty, beautiful space of love, and felt like dying. And it was endless and beautiful, no body and no head and no world, and just love.
Mm, beautiful. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
40 years later on medicine, he said, try it again. Then I tried MDMA again in silent darkness, same thing, and very quiet, and it matched 2013 to 2009. And
Yeah.
I used the medicine sporadically over the years, almost like a teeth cleaning, like every now and then give it a little cleaning, and then less and less medicine and more, like Jack said, quiet, shut the eyes, and uh, go within.
Yeah. Just sit in presence. Yeah.
Yes.
I never
And then
got into,
coming,
yeah, go
oh,
ahead.
sorry, then coming
It's okay.
down from that into the world and all the people, and it took so much time to see that this, as you would both say, is it, that it's here. It's not some emptiness like beyond this. It's the emptiness is
Mm,
this. And that took
yeah.
so long and so many smacks in the head, and oh, back to the drawing board and back over and over to see the beloved in everything from a piece of cellophane on the floor to a person.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. It seemingly goes so unnoticed, and then something kind of smacks you on the head and it's like,
Yeah, it's
it's
like hide and
this.
seek. It's like, I always think of it as hide and seek in, like we say we're gonna play hide and seek, and you and I shut our eyes, and Jack just becomes everything. And he's right there in front of, he's everything. And we open our eyes and he's everywhere, but we don't see him because he's everything. We're looking for him under things and under a rock, but he's everywhere. It's
You
like,
know,
Yeah, go ahead.
just the eyes are really something to discard.
yes,
all the visual metaphors, everything that really has nothing to do with it. It's beautiful to be able to see colors and to be able to see reflective surfaces and to be able to make sense of objects in space and time visually. But if you're really in this place of wanting to feel this, then you don't, it has nothing to do with being able to see. It wouldn't be something that you had to have eyes for.
Sure, because
Yes.
it's not an awareness.
Right.
And I think like with all the spiritual seeking and searching, they're really caught on the awareness and trying to look for it somewhere.
Yes.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's where you're looking from. Then I love that it's the ultimate magic trick. Yeah, what Jack just did. Yes.
It's the ring of consciousness. We're just gonna.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, boom.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's
It's like
interesting
looking in
because
the dark with a flashlight for a flashlight.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's a funny loop.
It's
And
like
I was obsessed with loops forever. All my favorite authors, especially Douglas Hofstadter, his
oh
Pulitzer
yeah.
Prize physicist, he wrote "I Am the Strange Loop" or "You Are a
Yeah,
Strange
that
Loop,"
book is insane.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy
and I
read.
knew everyone was on to that. And then when you take the medicine again of like LSD, I saw the loop. Like you could back up and see the loop, and it's like in Doctor Strange when he's so arrogant in the movie. It's like, teach me, and she just does this,
Oh,
and
I
he
love
comes
that
out of the
movie.
body, and he
Yeah.
looks at his own body from here, and I just thought they did it so well, and his jaw drops and advanced, like top shelf astonishment, high tier, the highest tier of astonishment.
Yeah, so it's so amazing because it can show up like that. It can pretty much take on any form that we can imagine. So like, it can show up as levels and a different awareness and different consciousness. And he's got his what if sign. Awesome.
And yet,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's here boring and ordinary too. It's just every which
yeah.
way, Yeah.
I read all those Zen books I read probably hundreds and hundreds before the experience, and it sustained me on a different level, not this level, but it sustained. There was something there, like a carrot, and they always said it's the ordinary is the extraordinary, and
Yeah.
I tried to grasp it, but you can't grab it.
No. But it's interesting. I wanted to talk about something that's showing up over here, and maybe I'll have some input about this. So basically, it's just this, whatever's arising, feel like a me, know me, whatever this seems to show up as. But what I notice is a lot of people, okay, kind of treading on thin water here, but a lot of people in the non-dual community basically behave in a way that's maybe less than ideal. And then a response is just this, almost like a license to behave any which way. Um, and so like for me, it's like there's potential to work through traumas and be a good person and treat each other well. We're on this planet, we're trying to behave in a way that we respect other people. And what I find is a lot of people in this community are like, well, screw it. It's just this. I don't need to be a good person to another person, right? I don't
Yep.
know if y'all have seen that, but I've seen it a lot lately, and it's like for a while I'm like, well, it is just this, so what's to be done? But now it feels a little bit more integrated in that kind of everything being everything aspect, where it's like I want to treat people good, I want to be helpful to others, I feel like we're here to grow and help each other. Life is tough, as it is, you know, that we can support each other in this little play that we're in. I don't know how either of you feel about that, whether you feel it's just this or if there is a play of helping each other and being good to each other.
Well, I think originally one cell split, and it's sitting here talking to itself. And I think we can feel that, and that is a kind of wonderment and awe and love and care. But I also think it doesn't have to happen because mathematically there's billions of pieces in motion. So if you make peace with the chaos of it, then the judgment towards that which has no free will diminish. Because the people you're talking about, do they have a choice?
Yeah, that's the conundrum. Yeah,
True.
yeah, that's true.
I don't know if it's true or not, but it is an interesting riddle. What are the mechanics of thought, and does anything have control over that?
Are you saying, Jack, it took me a long time to come to this, but I think it's what you're saying, that everyone's doing the best they can. I mean, forgive my language, but everyone's doing the best they can at where they're at, you know, like they're working with what they have. And if they could be the good that Leigh is talking about, like towards that good, they would, but some can't because they're so, you know, the energy is so contracted or it's tight or, you know, yeah, that, yeah.
I don't know how we talk about causality when it comes to psychological behavior. I don't think we have figured that out yet. Why and how anyone is being, why and what they're being immediately. Like we don't know the answer to that. So I think we
Right.
have to be a lot more skeptical about both the judgment, but also the I know what's going on. Like I don't know what's going on here.
I could go by experience. When this is my second cat. Before it was Shakespeare, and when Shakespeare was here, he was sick, and I'm in Guatemala where there are no cars really where I'm at, but there's little tuk-tuks, you know, flying by, and they never bothered me. You know, little, and these are 9-year-olds sometimes driving these little golf carts, flying. It made me drinking and flying 9 years old. Anyway, when the cat was sick though, I was at the pharmacy, and it's right in like a hub of the tuk-tuks. And I was at the pharmacy trying in English to speak to the Spanish person, and we're, you know, lost in translation. I'm trying to get medicine for this cat. And I noticed that the tuk-tuks bothered me when I was stressed. And this is after 3 books on peace and love and the whole thing and the whole mysterium tremendum. But still at the pharmacy, when the cat was a week away from death, I could feel the tuk-tuks, and I never felt them again, but I felt them then. So I think that I'm just going to make a jump. When we're constricted or we have a lot on our plate, so to speak, we can't. It's very hard. I mean, we maybe can, but it's very hard to dissolve all of that and get to this beautiful lightness and spaciousness, you know. And that's why maybe you're saying they don't have free will at that point, because they're you know, they're chained to something.
Well, the fun riddle is there's no free will past.
Wait, say it again. I don't.
There's no free will past.
Past.
Yeah, past. There's no historical free will.
I got you. Okay.
You feel how fast you're happening right now? Like you can't
yeah.
do anything about your
Good
image
point.
in the world.
Yeah. So
can't go faster than this.
so can we roll a die, because I know you love doing that. Yeah, let's
Game.
give it a whirl.
The game in mind. We can just roll. We'll roll this one, and then
Okay.
we'll play with the thesaurus. So C9.
C9.
C9. You can either give me 9 words that begin with C. Oh, I opened right to crying.
Crying.
Crying, weeping, blubbering, sorrow, sobbing. See, cry, tears, for crying out loud, for God's sake. Interesting. For heaven's sake, oh no, for the love of Mike, whoever Mike is. See, curse, crying. Well, I don't feel like crying.
Good.
I find myself nowadays crying at the beauty of the amazing astonishment and beauty and ephemerality and the whole thing of this whole play. Tears just
Yeah.
come.
Ah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tears down your face. Ah, we'll find.
So then, okay, so everything's just arising, but how do you feel then about healing trauma then?
So I go two ways with it. I think you
Yeah.
should try. I think everyone should try to stop having an argument with the past. And that's a physiological argument. And I think that definitely try to stop having that argument with everything that happened in this chaotic universe. And at the same time, Adler, not Freud, invited that you can deny the belief in the idea that something bad happened yet. And that belief is in here. So you can take the belief out and then you don't have trauma because you don't believe in the idea of it. But so I go back and forth between, I work on what I know my argument is, but I also don't believe so strongly in the whole argument as being some kind of like physiological curse that I'm going to have forever and ever and ever, etc. So I
Yeah.
work on it. I work on it, but I also don't believe in it. And that doesn't make sense, but that's how I go about it.
That's interesting because that's how I feel too. It's so paradoxical because it's like you want to work on something and yet that's just what's arising within your character and that's perfectly okay and whole. So it's like, well, if you want to work on it, work on it. If you want to be less of an asshole, then try and work on it. Or otherwise, just accept the fact that that's your character and the arising expression, which is okay too. So, I mean, either which way, I guess it's okay, right?
Well, the past is definitely gone. So
Yeah.
it's a mental relationship to the story I have of what I think happened so far. And that's beautiful that it's inside each person to just go, why am I imagining what's not happening? And why am I arguing with it?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's interesting you bring up the past because, like, I just took a trip to Florida, where I'm from, and hadn't been there in years, connected with old childhood friends and family. And it just brought up like all the past things that people thought this character was and projecting like and there's been such a change and since I've been back. So like going back, it's interesting to see like the past versus the present, which you know, is showing up in memory, but still it's like revisiting those past pieces that you kind of forget about. And then it's like all arising around you and like, oh my God, they used to think I said this, and oh, they think I'm more like that. And it's just like stirring up all these memories, and you're like, that's how I was? No freaking way. I don't remember doing that or being that. And like my memory is so shot now. It's so shot. So like the stories they're coming up with, I'm like, I did that. No, can't be. Like can't even remember half these stories. But it's like the memories popping up. You're kind of like, oh, I used to be like that.
That's like
Um, yeah.
that's uh the caterpillar going to the high school reunion, but it's a butterfly, and they're like, remember when you crawled and you used to crawl on your stomach, and but it's a butterfly and it's like flying around the whole thing happy, and they're like, remember when you used to just eat leaves and crawl on your stomach, and it's like, no, I'm transcendent.
Yeah,
Wow.
the old hometown, it's like, old hometown.
Yeah. Jesus
Yeah.
said you can never be a prophet in your own town. You can't. And Ram Dass said, don't, if you think you're enlightened, go spend a weekend with the family. Same thing. They did your diapers, you know, they know you, they've seen you.
Oh, totally. I mean, I've tried, in the beginning stages to preach this to my parents, and they thought I was going crazy and that I should go to a mental institution. So that didn't work out well.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack, you're shaking your head. Did you have any similar experience?
Well, I have a psychiatrist, and I talk to him about depersonalization, and it's a symptom of mental illness. And it's interesting that it's also a philosophy in the world.
Yeah.
The idea you don't exist is a psychiatric condition. And if you really feel it, it's terrifying. But if you're philosophically playing with I don't exist, I don't think it's doing anything relatively other than getting you in and out of different language game clubs.
Jack, did you see Schenectady?
No, no, I know of it. Philip Seymour Hoffman, correct?
Yeah, there's a disease in it called, I can't remember the name, like Cotkins or something. And it's that you don't exist, or your organs don't exist. You're empty inside, and they make this whole, he's making a play, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and the play, the set is the size of New York, the full state. And it's just great. And it's what you both talk about.
Mm.
I think it's called Schenectady, New York.
Yeah.
Schenectady.
I remember the name of the title and that he was in it, but I don't know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, you brought up kind of an interesting point. So I'll just ask it, how do you feel about the Parsonian message there?
I think
With
it's
those
brilliant.
self.
If
Yeah.
you're asking me, I think it's brilliant because you
Yeah.
cannot penetrate it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one to penetrate it because there's nothing happening. There's no message. There's just meaningless and purposeless, boundless, unconditional love chaos. Right? Like, it's beautiful. You can't touch that thing. I've tried, I've played with it, I've gone around it with my javelin, and I've fucking taken my sledgehammer, and you can't do shit to that message. That message, if it gets inside you, it is your operating manual, and you're just like, whatever, okay. And ideally, you can think your way out of it, but it's very challenging. The easiest thing to do is to leave hanging out with anybody who talks like that. Then you go on the adventure of yourself. But if you don't want to do that, then you're just going to hang out with people who all are talking the same game. And we're so creative as creatures. I mean, the language is in motion. Maybe. Like, we can play with the language in such wild ways to get stuck in any way to play it. It's like,
right.
it doesn't really make sense. So I love Tony Parsons. I got to see him when I was in London. I think he's hilarious. I think he's genius. I think it's hilarious what is happening. That people are actually 10 quid each. 10 quid each. Each what? Right? Like,
Yeah.
at the door, 10 quid each. And they walk in and they're like listening to this beautiful story that they aren't there. And it's beautiful. It's hilarious. If it leads anybody to psychiatric trouble, well, where do we place the responsibility? On him or on the people who walk through the door and pay 10 quid each?
Tony,
I'm
the
not talking about the
Terminator.
money. Just think about the idea. No one's here, but you got to pay 10 each. That's
great.
genius. That's brilliant.
I never spoke of Tony, but I can't top what Jack just said. I totally agree. And whenever he's just amazing, funny. I love when he flashes his eyes and laughs, and then he just sits quiet and waits, and it's just a beautiful no message, the open secret. And I just think it's for people who are ready. I know this is going to open up a can of worms, Jack, but it's when people are ready to pop, and I know that pops something. Go ahead, go. When they're ready to pop, Jack, they pop for Tony. That's why he's the Terminator.
What if the idea of well, what if the idea of popping is an event in space-time, and
I agree.
you finally have to toss the idea of popping out and be here where you've never been before.
I'm with that, but it's still a pop.
If it's a memory, whoa, this isn't a memory.
No,
Yeah,
No.
that's true.
Where the bodies all are, no one can remember being.
all I'm trying to say, then I'm gonna write my own thing,
Yeah.
is that when Tony takes all the oxygen out of the room and sets the room on fire, and he's got his oxygen mask on, and his Terminator outfit,
Oh,
and he just takes that room out. If you're ready, if you're on the edge, you go, holy, and that's a Richard Sylvester and
Jim Newman.
I think who?
Jim Newman.
Jim Newman and Richard and maybe Lisa Carnes, I think, was there, and a bunch of others, you know.
but these people you're talking about, they don't exist.
No, I know, but they're ready, whatever word you want to pop.
That's wild, right? Like, that's a wild premise. The idea that there's somebody that can popcorn. Here we'll roll. All right, we got N.
Yeah.
4N. N.
And
Nasty.
nasty.
What's happening?
Three more N's.
You want an N word for
Oh.
me? Jokes. Wait, an N word?
So
Nirvana.
I threw in nasty.
Oh, that was good.
Nirvana.
Nirvana.
Newman.
Neverland.
Oh, yeah.
Neverland.
Nirvana,
Never lost.
Never lost.
Novel.
Hmm.
No, nothingness.
Nothing.
Ah.
Nisargata.
Mr. Gadada. Yeah, the canon,
Nothing.
all that reading you did, don't you ever go like, oh shit, why did I read
Yeah.
them?
Yeah, but I'm glad. Wait, RJ, you're both aware of RJ, Richard, the philosopher of philosopher. He's told me one day, I had that moment, Jack, of, oh, fuck, I did 4 master's degrees like an idiot, like just on and on and on. And he said, yeah, but James, that, and no one ever said it. Maybe he's wrong, but it made sense. He said, that's always in your holster. Like you have Hafiz, you have Rumi, you have Shakespeare, you have Schopenhauer, you have all this reading, and I can pull it out whenever and juggle like your balls. Balls, it's like,
Bowls.
that.
Yeah, oh yeah. The infinity ball.
Now, how do we use the 8 ball? We roll it and ask it a question?
Yeah, ask me any question and I'll tell you what it says.
I know Jack wants to know, why is immortality, why is it something good?
I'll speak for me, you speak for you. Yeah, that's a good one. Why is immortality appealing?
Okay. I don't know if it's going to give me that complex an answer.
Well, we'll see what it says. Well, we can adjust.
Okay, hold on. It's
Yeah.
a little funky here. Hold on. It wants to flip-flop around here. Come on.
Uh-oh. It's flip-flopping on
It
immortality.
says indications say yes.
Why is immortality appealing? Indications say yes.
I'll take that as a right.
Oh, that's an interesting question. Does talking with people feel like a competition?
Oh, wow. That's a good one. Let's see. Chances aren't good.
Meaning we lose?
I always love those 2 monks that say, let's have a fight. And one says, I don't know how to fight. You guys know. And one says, all right, I'll take this brick and I'll say it's my brick. And then you say it's your brick and we'll have a fight like everyone else. So the monk says, okay. And he holds it up and says, this is my brick. and the other one says, have it, brother, it's yours. And they both just laugh. Takes the juice
James, don't bet on it.
out.
So it's funny because it's like everything out of our mouth is a story. We're just the ultimate storytellers.
Yeah, I want to fight that.
Oh, you're gonna fight it. Okay,
I
go
just
ahead. What
try,
you got? What you got?
but I know what you're gonna tell me, so I can't. I've worked since last talk. I've been trying to fight the story thing, and I can't because I can say, well, that's just a story, and then you could say, well, what I just said is a story, and it just goes endlessly. I don't know how to. So when you say story, do you mean a fiction?
Well, we can't really confirm memory or the past, right?
So it's not a
So
fiction, it's just a story which could be true or false.
true and false are just arising here. There's really no true or
Define
false.
story. Define story.
I mean, even divinity is making something out of nothing. So, like,
Divinity chocolate.
Divinity chocolate, I'll invest in that.
no, because I know you, James. Well, I don't know you per se, but
No,
from
you
our
do.
conversations, like I know with your expression, it seems like you're seeking some maintainable state of astonishment.
No seeking, just trying to come closer to baseline as much as possible. Not,
But
not
what is a
keeping going
baseline
highway.
versus a state? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is baseline
Meaning,
versus a state?
meaning don't, remember last time we talked and you said anger comes up, anger. So if anger
Yeah.
comes up all day, all day,
Mm-hmm.
like 12 hours a day, which it doesn't with you. I'm just imagining. So that anger 12 hours a day, and then angry dreams all night, and angry, angry, angry. I don't think either of us three are in that state of anger all day and all night. So I think there is a like a dimmer, like you can. It's not always angry and it's not always blissful. There's some kind of line there where meditation, being quiet, like Ben would say, um, shutting your eyes, being and getting closer to this stillness or this peace beyond understanding, you'll have more of a peaceful day than the angry all day and all night person. That's all I'm saying. It's not just anger all day. Jack has his hand up.
I want to point out quantity again and again, right? Like again and again, again and again.
Yeah.
Quantity. When there's a quantity, it's almost like it's a distraction from what's happening. Because when you said more and more, hold on, like maybe reduce quantity completely. Well, not a mistake.
How would you say it? Would I? Because I know you know what I was saying. How would you put it in a better way, like in a
It's
clearer?
not better. I really do want to point this. It's not a correction. It's just when quantity is being used, it does a certain thing to the nervous system. So reduce the belief in quantity, and then the only thing that's here, which we don't know, is it a 0,
Yes.
is it a 1, is it a 5, is it a 12, etc. Like the only thing that's here is what remains.
So can I say less and less distortion, or less and less is bad?
I think you can say whatever you want to, and for me, I can't imagine an instruction can be followed.
Yeah, but I followed instruction and it worked. That's the only reason I do it.
Right, but that's
I had a
your
teacher that
opinion
told
on
me, turn it like a knob,
Mm.
do it like, and I did, and it worked.
Perfect.
And when I
can't
didn't do it, I suffered,
Right.
and it came back. It's like, I think we both took medicine or meditated, right? We all out of all of us, I know you have, and I know you have meditated or taken medicine. And you know, the next day, it's like you go to this blissful, beautiful place, and the next day you're back in a not as beautiful place. It's like the radio dial. It's like you found the perfect station on the radio, and someone touches yes in the car, they put their foot up and they hit the dial, and you go, no, 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 I found the perfect, and when there's a way to twiddle the knob, and these are techniques, and I know you both might not buy it, but
Okay, wait,
techniques turn the knob.
wait.
They
Well,
turn
wait
the
a
knob.
minute. Okay, what if this is perfection right now?
It
Being
is, but
mad,
what about someone? Oh,
screaming,
you think mad is?
moving. Is
So
it?
you think angry all day is good?
Wait, all day. You have to question your belief in all day.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I've seen people that are angry at the drop of a hat. They're
Right.
angry, angry, angry.
Your memories are not data. Right now is what you have, and so be careful when
Right.
you.
All right. I could go outside with the laptop and walk out, and I'll find someone that's laying flat down in the
I'll
street
wait.
here,
I'll wait.
upset, and they're not leading a good life.
Well, I
They're
don't know
not.
what to do. I don't know what to do with that. You're right here. You're closer to them than I am. I mean, I would imagine.
I'm saying now. Let's go into the solipsism argument. There are people out there beyond us three. No?
Oh, yes, of course. But I don't know what the
Oh,
experience is.
yeah, but I see it. There's people out there crying on the streets of Guatemala. I'm in a sad country where people are suffering and they have nothing and they have and you either give to them or you don't give to them. And there's all sorts of pain and suffering. So I'm watching it, and I'm watching some non-dualists here just turn their back on them as if they don't exist. And I don't like that. That's all. I'm going to be quiet.
I don't experience myself to be turning my back on anything.
Not you guys. I mean, out here.
I feel you, and I feel for what you're talking about, and
Yeah.
I'm so far
It's
away.
very clear. Yeah. But here, there are a few that when the sad lady walks in and puts her hand out, they turn. I watch them. I watch the room as I'm reaching for money in my pocket, and they put their heads down. And it's during a conversation about making the world better.
Right, but
And
that's yeah.
kills me.
I know, but that's the beauty of human innocence is you
Yes,
really,
and I don't know, and I'm not claiming to be right at
Right.
all. I
Me
know
neither.
it, just like healing. I know nothing about healing. I know about pointing people to a medicine shop or into their heart, but I don't know about healing and bodily healing. All this talk about that, and I don't know about charity. I don't know if you should give or not. I feel like I should give, but I don't know what you two feel when you see someone put their hand out and they might buy alcohol, they might buy food, especially when you know that person, you see them at 5 o'clock and they're face down in the street, and I see it here. I don't know, but I'm just saying there are people outside of us three that are suffering.
Well,
Or
yeah.
appear to be.
But there's also people outside of us three that are having an incredible time.
Yes. Yeah.
Since I was born, it has been the same every second of my life. The global phenomena of good and bad, beautiful and ugly, that has never changed. There is no amount of change. Nothing can change that phenomena. So
Yes.
I hear you. I get it.
I think Ram Dass said, somebody, I don't know who said it, but they said there's and it fits what you just said. And I never quoted this before, but it's in here. And it said something like, there's an equal amount of suffering and bliss, beauty in the world. Like somehow it's balanced. I don't know if that fits what you're saying, but
I
like
don't
it
know.
doesn't tip. Maybe it does. Maybe that's a perception. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's,
if you take 8 billion people, you can kind of start to do some kind of algorithm for who's feeling what. A percentage of them are asleep, a percentage of them are dreaming, and a percentage of them are awake.
Yeah, I mean, it appears that you need the duality for contrast. But my character, speaking for myself, that's all I can do, is a healer. I'm a healer for a living, in acupuncture. So my tendency would be to go to the person in the street. How can I help you? Are you okay? Like, that's just my natural tendency, but not everybody's like that. And so there's an acceptance of all, like you guys said, the innocence of each expression. You know, maybe somebody's having a horrible day and they're stressed out and they just walk by the person. So there's no telling, like, you know, how anybody's going to respond. And all I can do is the best that I can do in each
Yeah.
situation and hold myself accountable. But
That's the
knowing
kind of
that,
healing, the healing you do
yeah,
is what excites. It's like on the, for me, it's on a frontier. I can't quite see it yet. It excites me because I understand it. I don't understand it, but I know it's true. So I can't do it, but I respect it and love it, and it's exciting. It's like a frontier. It's like a exploration that I think in the next few years I'll be part of it and immersed in. But I love to hear about it.
oh, yeah, that's so
Yeah,
sweet. Yeah, yeah. Energy healing is amazing. It's
that's
just,
what I mean. I know
it's
it's there.
incredible. Yeah,
I just
yeah.
don't do it, but I respect it. I'm like, wow, what? How do you do that? What I want to
I don't
learn
know.
what that is. Right? Maybe what I hear here when I talk to some of the healers is it's you just become the clear channel, like be empty, and it just comes through you to help others. I don't know if that's good with it.
Yeah, there's really no self involved. It's just hands
Yeah,
moving over the body, feeling, and there's an automatic knowing of the problems of the body. There's just this intuitive
just come.
sense that just comes, and I can go, oh, your liver, oh, your stomach, you know,
It's
it's
amazing,
just this intuitive thing. But, you know, I don't say that Leah is doing it.
right?
It's, yeah, yeah. But yeah, healing is an interesting animal because it's like the body stores emotions and it
Yes,
gets in knots in the body. And as you
yes.
start to remove those knots and work with the body, you can see people go, and they
You see
relax
the
or they
release,
cry and there's a release and a calmness comes over. So it's really beautiful to watch the healing process.
my teacher was talking about LSD, and he said he took it and he had this pain up his left arm, and all of a sudden he just focused on it, and it was a memory from when he was 7, and it just released, and then he felt amazing. But then the right arm lit up, and it was
Yeah.
another memory like when he was 9, and he released. So it was like a memory in the body somehow holding all this trauma, and it released.
Yeah, it's wild too, because with like radical non-duality, when I was really stuck in emptiness, like everything was empty and you know, it was like I almost like lost my intuitive sense. And there was like no desire to do anything or to help people or to do this practice. I lost complete desire for everything. And I go into work and I'd be like, all right, well, another day when I used to really love what I do. And then it was like, I guess this is happening here. You know,
So can I ask you, you
yeah.
both, so we've all been through this, radical, I didn't even know radical non-duality till like last month when Walter
Oh,
released some video or your video, something, and someone pointed out the difference between neo and radical. And I knew neo Advaita, but not radical. Would you guys say radical non-duality is mountain is no mountain, like that stage? First there are mountains and rivers and everything's solid, and then one day, oh, there are no mountains and mountains aren't mountains and river. You see through to the emptiness of everything, but then there's a return where mountains are mountains and rivers are rivers again, but you know the deal, and or you don't know, but it's that middle stage. If you get stuck in the attached to the emptiness, you get radical non-duality. Is that the case? I don't
No, I think it's you. There's no you. And what that really means is that there's no solid pronoun correlate. There's just the energy of the universe.
Right.
There's not a separate agent making choices.
Right.
And everything else that is said after that is totally irrelevant.
Ah,
It's just the felt sense that belongs to no one that this has no question about itself. But it doesn't belong to any kind of entity. It's
would
just
you call that though radical non-duality, what you just described, or is that coming back, making the journey back to the integration, back to the whatever word you want?
no, so there's no journey. The whole premise of a stage and something going through any kind of process is an illusion.
But can we call the journey a journey in imagination at least?
No, there's no actual entity going on an adventure.
But a journey in imagination, Jack?
I won't, I can't, I'm just saying, because from radical non-duality, like there's just no journey.
Oh, that's radical. I got you.
Yeah.
How about plain old non-duality?
Well, that's
Plain
advice
old-
of a concept. Well, that's fun,
Right.
right? When you realize there's
Yeah.
like non-duality 1,
Then
non-duality
is a journey. Yeah, yeah.
3, and you get into the
And
whole.
where is Tony? Where would you put Tony?
There
If
is
you-
no Tony Parsons.
I know. Come on.
No, you
Give
don't
me a
understand.
dice.
I'm just trying to
Roll
help.
dice. What? I'm gonna start juggling skulls.
He even
Yeah.
says that, I think. He's like, there's no Tony, right? He
I
says that to
know.
There
people.
is and there isn't. There is and there
The
isn't.
appearance of Tony Parsons. What about that?
No, I don't. I could pick him out of a crowd, so there must be something.
Those eyes and that smile. He's married. So wife.
All right, so ask me another question. Any question, don't hold back. We're gonna go in really deep here. Really, really deep.
Oh.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, we haven't even begun. Say
Will my
that.
colonoscopy be successful?
Oh,
Wait, what?
She said really deep. It was the deepest thing I could think of.
that's pretty
That's
deep.
great.
Yeah. Come on.
Come on,
I have a defective 8-ball here.
come on, doctor.
Come on. Oh, wait, something's coming. Ah, it just flipped. Very likely.
Perfect.
Yes, we'll take it.
Woohoo.
Thank you.
Make the
Yeah.
appointment.
Okay, so I have another question. So how do you guys feel about purpose? Like purpose in life?
This is
Me?
it.
You?
Well, yeah, sure. This is the purpose.
I agree.
Expand, please.
There's not a dimension to the foam. So whatever the foam is doing, that's the purpose.
That's the purpose. Whatever shows up, apparently.
I'd say wake up, but you guys would like it.
You say whatever you want.
Purpose
Yeah.
of a dream. Yeah, it's like, what's the purpose of a dream? You know, you can stay in it or wake up from it, or in it.
Yeah. I guess the purpose is also what you place on it too. I mean, the paradox.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Maybe it's how much fun you can feel.
I like that.
Yes. I like that a lot.
I don't know. I don't know.
So if you devalue the dream, you will wake up to this. If you value the dream, I don't know what happens. I think a lot of suffering.
I don't know what you mean by dream. Are you talking about this? Oh,
Yep.
but this is real. Like there's real ethical
It's a
consequences.
real
for all
dream.
people.
Yeah, but no, it could be provisionally ethical while you're here.
Yeah, like
Just-
the people you were mentioning outside that you care about
Yeah.
and are worried about.
Yeah, same thing.
I'm not going to call this a dream. This is a real situation that people are in.
I agree, but I say it's ultimately a dream. But
Well-
still in the dream, I hate to quote the Wizard of Oz every time. But Dorothy
no.
cared about the Munchkin, she cared about Toto, she cared about the Scarecrow and the lion. She had to smack the lion around a little bit, and it was all her one. If Dorothy is the analog for God or the dreamer or the nothingness, or the absolute or whatever word, it is moving towards, all she wanted to do was go home. You know, and so the purpose would be to wake up.
Mm. So let me just interject here. I'm curious, Jack, what inspires you? Where do you find your inspiration?
It's great.
So, like, there's so many people. I think all I am is all the people I'm inspired by. And so I would, like a lot of actors and a lot of artists, my family, my sister, my mother, my father, my grandmother, all the women I've ever dated, they all taught me something beautiful about how to listen in the end. Nature. Eugene Thacker is a philosopher. He has this distinction between the planet and the world. So the planet is very inspiring because the planet is everything humans had nothing to do with. And the world is everything funneled through the human being. So all of the stuff we make and all of the accoutrement. But the human body and the planet are in relationship, and the world is optional. And so that inspires me incredibly to look out at the sun and the moon and the stars and the trees and see the planet itself, all the other creatures, insects, spiders, etc. And my ignorance, like how stupid I am. It's a kind of incredible relaxation to not be this intelligent. Like I'm not smart enough to know what's going on, so I don't have to try to figure it out. And I find a great inspiration from that because in society there's a lot of jockeying for who knows best, and it's like I don't know best at all.
Would you
Yeah.
call that a humbleness or
No, because I'm not humble. I think I'm pretty awesome.
So
I
that's
think,
big. Yeah. Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Oh, I was going to say Kate Blanchett gave an interview once, and she sat down and she said, somebody said something like, "Oh, well, welcome," and she said, "Oh, I love talking about me." So I feel I have that part of me too. Like the adventure of me, it's really fun. But
Do you find that you have less of a filter now than you ever have?
no,
Or
I used to have less of a filter
oh,
in when
so
I
now
do
you
it.
have some discernment with how you're communicating. Yeah.
Well, I take an antipsychotic and it changes my ability because I have
Yeah.
to manage myself because I get audio hallucinations. And so I used to have less of a filter, and I made a bunch of videos in those states. And I look back and I cringe like a son of a bitch right now.
Do
I remember those
you?
videos. I remember.
Oh, I would never do that now. I would never do that now.
Let's pull up a clip.
No way.
But I love how candid and raw you were in those
Yes, it
videos
was
and
raw.
pure emotion. It was just booming there. Really, really appreciate that. And I think a lot of people
Yes.
probably have and find it relatable because we experience all these manic, crazy feelings and expressions. So you were just the living epitome of that.
I appreciate the words. It just,
Yeah.
you look back on your art or you look back on yourself. I don't know how, but
Yeah,
moments that you love and moments you hate,
sure.
but that doesn't matter. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Past is the
That's
past.
with you all. I think James, you said butterflies pinned in location.
No pins.
No
Don't,
butterfly.
don't crucify the butterfly.
No, I saw a little
Off the
meme
cross.
and it was a worm and like next to a butterfly and some other, I don't know, a cocoon. And it was like, I am growing. And the other one is, I'm a beautiful butterfly. And the worm goes, I'm a worm. Yay.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I love, there was a picture book for kids. It's a great story where a spider was really good friends with the caterpillar. And they were best friends. And then the caterpillar went into this weird cocoon, and the spider was so sad where, went away into this tent like thing. And then its friend never came out. This butterfly came out. And the spider didn't know. Oh, children didn't know.
Oh,
And then the butterfly had to speak to the heart of the spider, and the spider realized it was the friend. It was the friend. And it reminds me, because I used to hate the Bible so much. When Jesus comes off the through the resurrection in the story, Mary's there and she doesn't recognize Jesus metaphorically until he speaks her name. And then when she hears that vibration or that, just like the butterfly, she says, Master. She knows that's my friend. You know?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a good spiritual camp counselor.
I'm gonna learn to juggle tomorrow.
Next video, you got to be juggling, James.
I
Or
could
else
do
we're gonna...
card things, but I'm sure that's
Okay, next time bring your cards. We'll do a
all right.
magic
Try not
session. Who needs words when we have magic?
Yes, but the real magic beyond the cards.
Is what? Say it.
In your words, this
Woohoo!
tremendous, amazing, divine, I'm sorry, but it's divine play of existence. This.
Okay, I'll take it.
And I'm saying that there are ways to find it within the little breadcrumbs, like meditation, like like Jack said, shut your eyes, be quiet, ignore the senses a little bit and go to beyond the senses to the third eye. I'm in a restaurant here in Guatemala. I came from New York. I left everything. I flew with one bag and one cat. That's it, one bag. And there's something about letting go of almost everything that you own. And you have one bag and the cat died, but the one bag. And I went to a restaurant called Tersa Ojo, the third eye. And it was so amazing. And the conversations in the third eye were what Jack was talking about, that beyond those two eyes, just total soul or heart or deep consciousness conversation. Then I moved into the third eye, and now I'm living in the restaurant in a hotel. It's just too amazing.
Amazing. Oh, so you brought up something that I want to talk about.
Yes, and then I have a question to you.
Okay. Synchronicities.
Oh,
That's
my
something.
favorite. Jack
Well,
first.
okay.
Okay, go ahead and finish.
No, it's interesting because I see a lot of synchronicities pop up all the time, and it's almost like a little peekaboo from the universe. It's fun,
Yes.
yet it's meaningless at the same time. So it's that paradox
It was
of...
meaningless to me as a skeptic, but now it's like if there's only one mind or one thing or one consciousness, when you do the math, of course, it's going to synchronize. So it makes sense as one mind. So
Yeah, it's weird. It happens all the time. Like I'll see like a meme on my phone and then there's a billboard, or there's so many examples, but it's like kind of constantly happening in my
I give
reality.
my favorite. And then Jack, sorry, Jack. My father died in 2021. I think I told this before, and we were at Christmas dinner before he died a couple months and debating this kind of stuff. And he was a numbers runner, like a Tony Soprano mafia guy. He was not on board with any of this. And he was surrounded by people talking like we are. And he put his fork in the skajili at Christmas dinner and held the skajili up and he said, yeah, exactly. And he said, how can heaven, James, be any better than this? And he popped it into his mouth and he was in such heaven. And then we all gave RJ was there and we all gave and his girlfriend, and we all gave an answer. And then a year later on his birthday after he died, actually April 14th, his birthday was the 15th. A lady from Australia read my book and she contacted me, and there's nothing about my father in the book. And she said, I don't know why, James, I loved your book, but I don't know why I'm sending you a conch shell, a skajili shell. She was near the post office in Australia, far away from the water, so far. And I had been in the post office all that week dealing with his will and mailing things out. And so that's a little thing, but she sent me a Scungili shell on April 14th that said, I don't know why. And I told her that he was holding Scungili up as heaven, like there's nothing better. And I said, you missed him by one day. And she said, it's April 15th in Australia. So it was on his birthday, and she had no clue. And I would have hated that as an atheist and skeptic. And 20 years ago, would have laughed at it and found some reason to destroy that story. But it's true. Every word is true. So that's a synchronicity.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
tell it to Christians, and my boss just started crying at the library in New York, like just tears pouring like waterworks. She was a Christian that had faith, but no no knowing or anything, just some faith, and she heard that and just pouring tears, like it was like some kind of validation or something.
Mm. Hmm. Wow. Beautiful story. Jack, how do you feel on synchronicities?
So you've seen Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe
Hmm.
movie. So that happens, that kind of like get lost in all the patterns you can make has happened here in a way that's totally unskillful. So I don't look for them and I don't do anything with them. And I totally get what people, well, I have my own experience that I get what people mean when they talk about it. So if you
So when
start,
you get them, you just acknowledge it and let it go,
I don't even,
or
I
don't.
don't see them anymore. They don't happen.
Yeah, yeah. Ah, okay. But they did happen.
Oh yeah, in a weird way.
Yeah.
Like,
And did they? What made them not happen? You not paying attention to them after, not giving them any
yeah.
juice, or
Well, I mean, now we get into cause of mechanism, and I don't know how to answer that. But I would just say I just saw that it wasn't skillful, and then something just moves away from it. And I don't see them at all now. But it used to be like menu numbers and license plate numbers and this person's conversation
Hmm.
and that thing over there. And it just starts to get like convoluted. And then I would get messages that I would have to go places in the world and be part of really weird conspiracy like thing, just like
Yeah.
schizophrenia or whatever. So
Okay.
I don't touch it myself.
Yeah.
But I get what you mean. Like if you're in that space, it's pretty beautiful because everything feels absolutely connected.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I do my question?
Okay, go
Or
for
did
it.
you want to say something
No,
more
go
on
ahead. Go ahead.
my question? I ask everyone on my podcast, and I'm sure I've asked Ben, Jack, is the idea of supply. Like in all religions, there's this idea. I'll just use Christianity, but it's in I think all of them that the more you let go and the more you follow your heart or your uh, whatever word you want to put, you get taken care of. Uh, in a way, things manifest. Not that you get a yacht, but you get fed, or things work out a little bit here and there. Like you feel like Jesus, what Jesus said, I think, was look to the lily and the bird. Like they don't think about this and that, but they don't toil. They don't, but they get
Yeah.
clothed or fed. Things
Yeah.
will get taken care of if the more you follow this letting go. And I just wondered what you guys think.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll go. I can't fabricate letting go. So like I notice things feel more copacetic when I'm in a more positive mindset versus being negative and angry with the world, and both show up and there's no predictability. And I don't even know like what emotion's going to arise or how I'm going to react to certain situations. And sometimes I feel like it's so free flowy that there's just no telling. So I can't force a letting go if it's not showing up, if that makes sense. you know
Yeah.
it's Yeah, but I don't know, how do you feel, Jack?
I don't actually know because it's kind of like getting into a causal mechanism for why things happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just in the situation I'm in, so I don't have the ability to.
Yeah, it's almost like, where are thoughts coming from? They're just seemingly kind of arising. There's no even predictability behind a thought or even a preference. I'm not creating that I want to have vanilla ice cream over chocolate. That's just what's arising within the character. So I can't really definitively say I need to let go to be in another state. It's almost like an okayness with whatever's arising. And I think that is very helpful to suffering, because
Yes.
when we're at odds with an emotion or what's happening, I mean, honestly, like the whole thing, you're alone and hopeless because it's like you're kind of fucked, right? We're going through this life and it's just like all these freaking problems that really aren't problems, but you're trying to figure your way around, and then you go through a lifetime and then everybody's gonna die. So it's like, what are we doing? It's like everybody's just trying their best to survive and live, and hopefully some of us are thriving and some not so much. But there's really no predictability around this. If you really pay attention, like, James, it's like, where does a thought come from? Or where does your preference come from?
You ever hear, like if you, like you're saying, it's like an accident in a way that this beautiful awareness of non-duality can come, right? You're saying, and I don't know if Rick Archer said it or someone, that meditation, or there are techniques that can make you accident prone and bring this to you. Like if you just do these, bang your head against the wall until you die, you're not going to get this. But if you
Here's
sit
oh,
and like Jack said, close your eyes and go within, you might get the style turn.
but here's the thing. I can't say that someone's in a better state or a worse state than me. I just can't
So
validate
you think
anybody else's
banging a head against the
experience.
wall is a good state all
Well,
day for 24 hours a day until you die, stabbing yourself in the, you should be able to say that's not it's not
no,
optimal.
well, getting help happens, right? I'm not saying like
What if they don't get help and they just keep stabbing in the face until they die? That's not a good state. You have to, come on.
Oh wait, that's a hypothetical. Hypotheticals aren't real.
I'm not going to do it, Ben. I put all the silverware away.
Oh, nice, nice. Oh,
Plastic knives here. No.
have you seen The Killer on Netflix?
No.
Oh, I recommend The
uh,
Killer. Michael
The
Fassbender.
Killer.
Yeah,
Okay.
Michael Fassbender. I recommend The Killer.
Oh, he's great. Yeah.
Oh, it's a
Is it a
lovely,
movie or a
lovely,
document movie?
lovely little movie.
Love. I love when art
is
points to great things.
is anybody famous in it? I haven't heard of that one, The Killer.
Yeah, Michael
Yeah.
Fassbender is the only. And
Oh,
what's her? Tilda Swanson.
Oh, she's great.
oh, I like her. Yeah.
She's
She
fun.
picked some really good roles.
She
Did you
tells
see her in the Jim Jarmusch movie, The Last Lovers, something on Earth? Or it's about these two that live forever. These two lovers. Really good.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I just watched a movie. Oh, what's it called? Midsummer. Have y'all seen that one?
Oh, that scared the hell out of me.
About a cult, a pagan cult.
When
Yeah.
they would jump off the cliff and land.
Oof.
Oh, and
Yeah,
the
that movie got.
bear. You didn't
Yeah,
see that one, Jack?
No.
It's rough.
yeah, that's a rough one. It definitely highlights what a cult is, but it's a rough
He did
one.
Hereditary too. I don't know.
Oh
Hereditary.
yeah, Emerson told me to watch that, but I haven't gotten to that one. But he was like,
Emerson
yeah,
told you that? Not
yeah, we
Ralph,
chit chat.
not Ralph Waldo Emerson. You mean
No, no,
Emerson.
no.
Emerson's stuff is great because he actually
Yeah.
applies an aesthetic to his design that is just really intelligent. And I love, I don't watch a lot, but I love seeing when the thumbnails come up, all those little posters that he makes and stuff. Then
Yes.
he puts the time in, and it's really beautiful.
Yeah,
He
he's very
seems like a fun
polished.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
Well, beautiful guys. This has been so much fun.
Thanks for your
Um, oh my gosh, thanks for your time. I was so stoked to do this and to meet you, Jack. This is really awesome.
yeah, same.
And James, it's a pleasure as usual. Love chatting with you. Do you
Yeah.
guys have anything you want to plug or say or a finale?
It's my favorite. Maybe. It's like a tightrope walk. It's a tightrope.
Pulling the rabbit out of the hat, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Maybe it's a rabbit. Maybe it's a
A snake.
mongoose.
A
Snake.
mongoose. That's a big hat, James.
It's Alice in Wonderland.
Okay, I'm going to end the recording. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.